everyone. I'm Ronnie.
And I'm Jessica.
And you're listening to Clean With Me,
the podcast where we walk you through cleaning your house.
Thanks for joining me. In today's episode, I'm going to talk you through doing your dishes, even when you don't feel like it. I'm going to give you a few mental tricks for that. And I'm also going to talk about a common myth about microwaving food. So let's get right into the episode. It's time to gear up for your kitchen cleaning session. If you're listening to this episode, it could be that you just want some entertainment while you're doing dishes. But let's face it, it might be that you don't want to do your dishes at all. It happens sometimes. And it's usually not that we're too tired to do it. Sometimes it's just not fun. It doesn't seem fun. And there are a million things we'd rather be doing. And it seems like there are a lot of dishes to do. And the kitchen's messy. And it just feels overwhelming. I get that. But I'm going to help you get into the right mindset. The first thing you might want to do is kind of freshen it up a little bit. If you look a mess, it can kind of be depressing to just walk in and start cleaning your kitchen. You feel like, your husband's going to come home and you're in disarray or something. And yes, I get it. That's okay or whatever. But when you look good, you feel good, and you treat your significant other better. I once heard a pastor say this years ago, that when a wife doesn't do her makeup or whatever, it's not that the husband minds it. It's that she doesn't feel as good, and she can end up grouchy when her husband comes home because she doesn't feel pretty. And if you don't wear makeup, this isn't going to apply to you. I get that. But if it applies, it applies. When you look good, you feel good. And I don't like to clean while I'm looking a mess unless it's super early in the morning and just I know nobody's going to see me. For example, this morning I did an empty reload and run of the dishwasher. No makeup on, still in my nightgown, but that was fine because it's super early. Okay. But in general, I try to get fixed up before a cleaning session. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel ready for anything, and it makes me more pleasant to be around. Okay. So let's get right into our kitchen cleaning session. Another thing I like to do before doing dishes, and this isn't always the case, but sometimes I like to clear the countertops off first. But I'm not demanding that you do that, and I'll tell you why. Sometimes when you just absolutely don't want to do your dishes, you can tell yourself a few things to get you motivated. You can tell yourself, and I'm not talking about speaking out loud to yourself, I'm just talking about your thought process. You can tell yourself that you're just going to do an empty reload and run of the dishwasher. It's only going to take 5 minutes, maybe 10, and that's all you have time for. That's all you're motivated to do, and you're going to just at least do that so that you don't fall behind on dishes. Maybe there are things that need to be hand washed. Maybe there are things that need to be soaked, but you're going to just do an empty reload and run of the easy stuff and get the rest of it soaking. Or you say, Ronnie, I don't have a dishwasher. I got you. If you don't have a dishwasher, you might tell yourself that you're going to pre-rinse your dishes, fill up the sink with hot soapy water, and get them soaking. And of course, the larger pots and pans might just be filled up with soapy water and placed on the counter next to the sink. And then the sink could be full of the small stuff, the plates, bowls. And if you're like me, you don't like to put your cups and mugs in the dishwater because you don't want them to get broken, you can fill those up with soapy water and set those around the sink. So if you tell yourself you're going to just do a pre-rinse and soak, if you're hand washing, or that you're just going to do an empty reload and run and maybe soak whatever's left, this can seem manageable, and you may not even have the energy or the motivation to clear off your countertops first. Maybe you're going to leave those cereal boxes and seasonings out for now because you're just worried about the functional aspect of your housework today. Because obviously there are kind of two aspects of housework. There's keeping your house functioning, making sure you have clean dishes and clean clothes so that you can do all the things. And then there's making your house look good. And sometimes all you have energy for is the functional part. Okay? Now, in general, and this may apply to you, I like to clear off my countertops and get everything organized. But to be honest, I wanted to record this episode before everyone wakes up. So all I did was an empty reload and run, and I got some things soaking. Yes, we dropped the ball last night and did not do our dishes before bed. It was a Friday night, is what it is. But my machine is running. My dishwasher is running. And when I go back in there, those items that I have soaking are going to be really easy to hand wash, especially this pan that had some kind of fried on residue because I dropped a dishwasher pod in that hot water that I filled the pan with for some extra cleaning action. Even if you don't have a dishwasher, I recommend having some pods on hand. It helps with soaking hard to clean pots and pans. So I get it. Sometimes you've only got a little bit of time, or you only want to invest a little bit of time. You've got to at least do the dishes, even if you're putting off the cleaning a little while, because if you put off doing dishes, they become harder to clean and they increase, and then they're not all going to fit in the dishwasher, or they're not all going to fit in one or two sink loads. Okay? You can fall behind. Whereas wiping surfaces, if you put it off till a little later, you can, it's not really the end of the world. Okay? So take this how you want it. Maybe you want to have a completely clean kitchen right now, but maybe you just clicked on this episode because it had dishes in the title and you just want to do your dishes. Okay, sometimes that's all you have time for. And I talk about getting your machines running in the morning, as in a lot of my episodes, as far as your dishwasher, your washing machine, your dryer, and maybe in the evening if you're doing it right and get your dishes done before bed. Okay, but I talk about the benefits of getting those machines running, but sometimes you don't need to do laundry. Okay, if you're like me, you just washed your bedding like yesterday, and I've got a large capacity washer and dryer now, so my husband and I can put a week's worth of our laundry in there. So there are days where we don't do laundry. So really, getting the machines running on some days is just that dishwasher. That's the most important machine at our house, okay? So you may just want to do dishes, gather dishes from around the house, pre-rinse, and start that first dishwasher load or sink load. And of course, maybe you need to put away some things first. Maybe you need to empty your drying rack or your dishwasher, or both. Just get started on those dishes, whatever it means for you, and at least do the minimum. Like I said, examples could be an empty reload and run of the dishwasher and getting anything else soaking, or it could be a pre-rinse and soak of your dishes. And a trick for hand washing, again, I mentioned getting pods even if you don't have a dishwasher. A good hand washing tip is to drop a dish after you've pre-rinsed, of course, because you don't want chunks of food in your dishwater. Drop a dishwashing pod in with your hot soapy dishwater and your pre-rinsed dishes, and then you can come back to those in an hour and they will rinse off so much easily with little to no scrubbing. Okay? So that's a thing. But the good thing about telling yourself that you're just going to do a dishwasher load, or you're just going to wash a sink load, or you're just going to pre-rinse and soak, is that usually getting started is half the battle, and you end up doing more than you told yourself. Because I told myself I was just going to empty, reload, and run the dishwasher, and then record this episode. But I ended up doing more. I ended up putting away cereal boxes and seasonings. Even though I didn't do it at the beginning, I ended up putting away a few things, throwing away a little trash, um, stuff like that. So I did a little bit more, even though I didn't straighten up the kitchen at the beginning like I normally do. I still did a little more than what I told myself I was going to do. Okay, so my point is, by telling yourself you're going to just do a certain thing to start your dishes or do most of your dishes, oftentimes getting started is half the battle and you'll do more than you thought you were going to do. So just be plugging away on those dishes while I go on a little rabbit trail. Recently, I came across something online about microwaving food. For the longest time, I thought that microwaving food destroys the nutrients. And I think this is a common myth because when I asked my husband about it, he had heard it too. He thought it too. And I think where it's coming from is this rule about breast milk. Okay, if you've ever pumped your breast milk, you may have read something about not microwaving breast milk. And it's because, and I don't know the exact scientific stuff here, I'm not going to go real deep with this, but there are certain things in breast milk that can be destroyed in the microwave. So I think people took that to mean that all the vitamins in your food are being destroyed, and that's simply not the case. It's not the vitamins, it's other stuff in breast milk, these unique properties. Okay. So the way I understand it is theoretically, if you microwave a bottle of formula, vitamins are still going to be there. But there are these extra special compounds in breast milk, and they can be damaged in the microwave. Okay? This does not apply to your broccoli at dinner time. Okay? And I Googled this, and, maybe some of you will think that, no, the government just doesn't want you to know or whatever. If you're a conspiracy theorist, I get it. But in general, if you Google the topic, you're going to find that microwaving food is generally unlikely to damage nutrients more than other cooking methods. Okay. Microwaves cook food quickly and efficiently. I'm reading this off of some search results that I got. So there's less time for the nutrients to break down. For example, microwaving broccoli only resulted in a 16% loss of vitamin C compared to 33% when boiled. Okay, and I'm not telling you just microwave all of your food, because we all know that microwaved food sometimes doesn't taste as good. It can be mushy or whatever. I'm not saying to microwave your chicken dinner, but microwaving vegetables is an easy, non-messy way to steam them, and it really makes it clean up easy to just have these glass casserole dishes with lids and microwave your vegetables in there with some butter and a little bit of water and seasonings and just kind of steam them. It's super easy, and the benefit of it is that you're more likely to include a vegetable with dinner. I used to be really good about having a vegetable with every dinner that I cooked, but sometimes I can get lazy about it. And part of it could be just that maybe I'm using the saucepan. For some reason, saucepans are disappearing at my house, and I'm already using the main saucepan for like gravy or something. Or maybe I have a saucepan soaking. I'm not going to say that I always wash every single thing. Yes, you should be cooking in a clean kitchen, but sometimes you have a pan soaking in the sink or something. Is what it is. I recently got some glass casserole dishes with lids because I grew up having those and putting like soups in the microwave and vegetables in the microwave in those casserole dishes, and I've recently gone back to it. And as far as the microwave myth, I even went through a phase where I got rid of my microwave and got a toaster oven instead. Okay, if that's you, fine, just ignore that part if you're on that kick. But I've decided that it's okay. Now, cooking food in general can break down some of the nutrients. Okay, So some nutrients could break down during any heating process, especially vitamin C. So you need fresh sources of vitamin C. Ideally, you should be eating some raw fruits and vegetables, including that in your diet. We definitely do. Sometimes our vegetable is dipping sweet peppers, whether they're bell peppers or those little miniature ones, in ranch or baby carrots, fresh salads. We definitely like our raw vegetables around here, but there's nothing like steamed broccoli or some canned green beans for dinner, okay? And those are going to be going into those new casserole dishes that I got and microwaved because I like doing it that way, and it's super easy to clean the dish. It can go into you just rinse it out, pop it in the dishwasher, okay? And again, I'm not worried about it because I'm just talking about instead of heating vegetables on the stove, microwaving them, because it's not like that's going to cause us to microwave everything. We do roast vegetables also, like when you put the asparagus on a cookie sheet, put some oil on it, some seasonings, roast it. It's amazing. Of course, I boil potatoes, usually on the stovetop. Regardless of whether it's theoretically possible that the microwave is damaging certain nutrients or if some studies indicated that, it definitely doesn't just destroy all the vitamins and render the food useless, just to where it has no nutritional value. That's not a thing. So I wanted to make sure that you know it's been debunked. There's Harvard Health and BBC and different sources like that have debunked it. Not that I automatically believe everything I read, but again, I'm not that worried about it because we also roast vegetables. We also eat raw vegetables. So just not dirtying up another saucepan that I might want to use for something else. It's just what I'm doing. Hopefully you are plugging away on those dishes. And yeah, I said in a previous episode that sometimes you want to make fewer courses at dinner time. But I do ideally like to have 3 courses at least, and one of them being a vegetable. I've just been bad about that lately. Sometimes it's like spaghetti and garlic bread, and we didn't steam any broccoli. But I'm excited about the new containers I ordered. They just came in the mail yesterday. Keep plugging away on those dishes. If you don't like doing dishes, maybe you need to invest in different tools. Not that any of us just love doing dishes. I guess there are people who do, but I'm not saying you have to love doing dishes, but you're going to enjoy the process better if you like the tools. Pamper yourself if you struggle with dishes. Get the expensive dishwashing pods for soaking pans if you need to. Get the scrub mommies and scrub daddies. By the way, if you want to know about products that I like to use in my cleaning, visit cleanwithmepodcast.com, and there's a link there for products. And it's one of those things where you can order through my Amazon link. It won't cost you any more money, but I'll get a small commission just from you using my link because it shows that I told you to buy this stuff or whatever. You see what I'm saying? So that can help me. If you really want to help us, supporting the show financially is a way to do that, and it allows you to gain access to bonus episodes. That's another thing you can find on our website, cleanwithmepodcast.com, and click support the show. There are basically 3 ways to support the show. One of them is through Apple Podcasts. One of them is through Patreon. With that option, you can pick either me, Jessica, or both. You're going to gain access to the same episodes that way, but we do have a little bit of extra content that's unique to us, okay? For example, and be plugging away on those dishes, but while I talk, but for example, on mine, if Jessica makes a bonus episode or I make one and you support me on Patreon, you're going to get access to all of those bonus episodes, okay? Even though you would be supporting me in that situation. But I might do a post to show you my new hairstyle or something, a video of me cleaning the shower or something like that at the $5 level. you'll get access to that. Whereas at the $1 level, you'll just get the bonus episodes, and you might not get all of my additional posts, random posts, but you'll get all the bonus episodes. And these prices could change if you're listening to this in the future. These amounts could change over time. I'm not saying I'm about to raise them or anything, but just disclaimer if you're listening to this like 3 years from now or something. But you do get access to all of the bonus episodes with any of the supporting options, but there's a little bit of extra content if you support at a higher level. If you were supporting Jessica's Patreon at the $5 level, you're going to get some videos of her cleaning that may not necessarily be available on my Patreon. But again, the bonus podcast episodes, you'll get all of them by supporting either one of us. So hopefully that clarifies that. We've had some questions about that. If you're listening on an Apple device like an iPhone or an iPad, there's a real easy option to just click Start Free Trial or Try Now or something like that to gain access to the Clean With Me Unplugged episodes. They're the same episodes you would get by supporting either of us on Patreon. And then there's also that link in the description to support us through Spreaker. It will just kind of direct you to a link where you can hear the bonus episodes. We don't expect anyone to support us financially, but we honestly believe that these extra episodes are going to help you, and we sure appreciate it when someone goes the extra mile. But most importantly, just keep listening to our show, because just listening to the free episodes does help us. You can also leave us a 5-star rating and review on whichever podcast app you use. By the way, speaking of reviews, we had someone ask about an episode geared toward a child cleaning their room. I actually did make an episode like that a long time ago, and I will add a link to that episode on cleanwithmepodcast.com to make it easier to find. Thank you for that 5-star rating and review. We're just unable to reply on the Apple reviews, so I'm replying now. But to the rest of you, I see your reviews. They make my day. Thank you so much for them. I hope you got your dishes done in this episode. Maybe you're going to continue on and clean your kitchen, or maybe you've got something else to do, but at least you've kept your kitchen functioning. And just remember to give those countertops and stovetop a swipe before bed, and sweep your kitchen if needed. But hopefully you just at least got those dishes done. That's an accomplishment in and of itself. Thank you so much for listening. And as always, happy cleaning. I'll talk to you then in the next episode.